everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Amy, and this is a channel about a whole bunch of things. Cross-stitching, diamond painting, sewing, yeah. I haven't made a video like this in a really long time, and I kind of just wanted to get back into it. I feel like I'm really far away from you guys. It just, it's been a really hot minute. I know I made a video recently where I said I was going to try to come back and try to get back into my crafty era, and it just didn't happen. I spent all summer stitching. I got my hands on a ton of projects right here, and just the way the pieces fell, I just didn't have the mental energy and the mental capacity to put together videos and edit them. I still have an unedited, I think it's a diamond paint with me on my channel right now, or actually it's a stitch with me when I was first starting one of the projects that I'm going to show you, and I'll talk about that when I get there. And editing it, I don't know what it was that I really just lost my wind. I used to blow through those like crazy. At one point I used to post videos like every other day, and I would even record 2 or 3 videos at a time, and I had a busier house. But I wasn't working full time. I was still going to school full time, but I wasn't working full time. And so I would say in the past year, I've bounced in and out of my stitchy bug. It left, and I didn't do anything stitchy or even craft related for months at a time. And then I would dip my foot back in and I would love it, and then I wouldn't pick it up again for weeks at a time. And I just recently, in the summer, I really spent that time getting my craft bug back. And I hate to call it a bug because bugs come and go. I have a passion for crafting like to no end. These are blankets right here. My cat is asleep. I don't think you can see him right here on this one. And so I couldn't move this blanket. This shelf under my TV is a 9-cube shelf filled with kitted, partially kitted, and unstarted projects. There's a handful of whips that I like to pull that are easy to stitch in hand that I can stitch here in my room when I'm laying in bed. But then I still have my bin, my 2 bins in my front room that are my active whip piles that I typically pull from. And so I still have hundreds of projects. I think I was just so overwhelmed with what I had at the time after destashing recently, and then kind of, getting into a place where I needed to learn to fall in love with the stuff that I have. I wasn't able to get frogworts this year because of the financial aspect of it. I feel like the cost keeps going higher and higher, and I just couldn't afford it. And I was so upset. And after I was thinking about it, like, this is just so dumb. Like, I'm upset because I can't get this thing that I've gotten for the past 4 years. And I don't know. It is what it is. And then, I started thinking about it. I started going through my stash again. I made that video about really appreciating what I had and falling in love again with what was in front of me. And so I got a couple of gift cards for my birthday back in April, and they were to Michael's, and I used that to fill in some of the floss gaps for some of the projects that I really wanted to get my hands on. One of them is one of the ones that I'm going to show you here, and then my Gandalf. I have a Gandalf that I didn't put it in this pile, but I really want to start it soon, and I just haven't. So there's that. I don't want to make this video too long because there's some other stuff I want to talk about at the end. So I'm going to jump straight into the whips that I have in no particular order, okay? I pulled out, and I would have to, is this the first house? Yeah, wait, yeah. I would have to find a new image of this because I don't have the screenshot anymore because it's been so long since I pulled this project out that I don't have the image saved. So I'll hunt for it and I'll put it here so you guys can see my idea with putting this together, which I think is one of the ways that they recommend doing it anyway, because I don't want to do the smalls. So I have most of the Santa's Village houses for this one. These are by Country Cottage Needleworks, and I think there's 12, and I bought 2, 4, 6, 7, 8. Is there only 8? I have no idea. I have 8. I found them in a set either on eBay long time ago, eBay or Mercari or something like that, and I ended up ordering the entire thing. The one that I found actually came with the buttons. So this one is a star. Not all of them have a button. This one has a reindeer. Whatever. This is the most recent one that I worked on. And I don't have a whole lot done. I already had all of this done. And all I did was come in and put this green here for the roof. So that's the part that I'm working on. And that's it. And I'm doing it on this opal Ada, which I don't like. It's very hard to see, especially at night. Night Sky Opal Ada by Be Stitch Me, of course. This one's 18 count. I love Be Stitch Me. I'm kind of a Be Stitch Me snob. I've tried a couple of other brands. I really like the Zweigert or the Wischelt Lugana, and I'll show up some of that too for my full coverages and stuff. But most of my projects are on Be Stitch Me fabric, and you can't really see it because of this blanket right here, but this bin right here is just filled with fabric. And if it's not like a piece of 25 count or 28 count for a full coverage, I would say about 75% of that bin is just Be Stitch Me's hand-dyed fabric. And then I have some few random pieces of Ada still left over from like when I used to do the big eBay and Mercari hauls and stuff, because they're good for other projects that I have in mind. They're already designated. Okay, sorry for the crinkle. The next piece that I actually started, I'm calling it a start because I had like a handful of stitches done on this, like maybe 50 stitches done on this that I probably started 1.5 years ago when I first moved here to Arizona. And then really this last time that I did it, I put several hundred stitches in. So it is this Tardis project. This is one of the projects that I got from, I think it was Everyday E-Deals. There was 2 companies that had reached out to me about 2 years ago in the summer and asked if I wanted to do a deal with them. And then they initially sent me a handful of projects. And then if the videos got to a certain amount of views, they were going to send me a couple of more projects. So this is what that looked like. Love it. I got to pick all of those out too. And that's the project. So I started over here in this white window right here. So that's the part that you see right there. That first window is not window, but that first square is all done. I absolutely love this project. The colors are a little unusual. Sorry, it got dark there for a second because I was covering the camera. The color matching, I'm a little about it, but I'm going to trust the process and hope it just looks like this picture because this is a mock-up. And so I feel like it's going to be okay. We shall see. So that is something else I worked on that I haven't worked on recently. I keep talking about this, and I don't know if I showed it in my last video. Oh, this is on a piece of, I think this is on a piece of volcano stitching, actually. I think this is a piece of volcano stitching Ada. I got this off of, well, it was either a Facebook group or it came in a D-stash that I bought. I've talked about this a few times and I don't think I ever showed it. And I've put a couple of random stitches in it. This is Praiseworthy Stitches Bump Into Night. I have a couple of Praiseworthy Stitches, little villages like this. I had intentions of stitching them in one huge fabric and actually putting it together like it was a real town. And then I started thinking about it and I was looking at the cost of what the fabric was going to be and then just decided to change my mind. I really wanted something like this. But I think this was done on like a Picture This Plus or something like that. And I'm not the biggest fan of Picture This Plus. And so I didn't want to order that. So right now, this is where I'm at. And this piece that I'm working on is in between 2 pages because I really wanted to get more work done in the house. So I needed to go to the next page. And the last time I worked on it, I got this girl done right here. So that's where I'm at. You can't really see this green here, but that's all going to be outlined with the purple and the white. And it is this big house right here. This is pretty much the center. So the center is actually like right here where there's nothing. So when I started, I started with that little guy right there, this guy, so that I can move over into the house. So that's the big house that you see right there. And I'm stitching this on a piece of 16 count volcano stitching Ada, and I think those are the only 2 pieces of volcano stitching fabric that I have. And I'm using some of the called fors on there and some colors that I replaced because I didn't have them and I really wanted to start it, and the colors in my mind made sense. I have a couple of my own flosses of Mystical Diamond Arts in here. I have a few Victorian mottos in here, which I absolutely love Victorian mottos floss. I wish I knew what their base was because their floss is so smooth compared to others. A couple of Classic Colorworks, a bunch of Gentle Art, and then a ton of Weeks Dye Works that ended up, those were all called for. So that's that. The Tardis was a kit, so that's kit floss. Now this one, I put a lot of work on this. So in May, I went on a field trip with my daughter to San Diego. It's a school field trip that they do every year for the 4th and 5th graders. Last year she was in 4th grade, and I was able to pull it off somehow with the help of friends and family because the trip is a little pricey, and we were able to go because I have to drink my coffee. And so there's a piece of floss in my coffee. When I went, this was the project that I took for the bus because I felt like, you know what, this is going to be a really good project to work on the bus during the day because we mostly drove during the day, so it was going to be really bright, and I wasn't going to need a light or anything. This is the only image I have. It's this Darth Vader. Lots of 310. I think there's like 3 colors in this kit. Oh, no, there's 9 colors, okay? But so far, I've only gotten through the 310 part of it. I'm trying to do just the 310, as much of the 310 as I can before I feel like I need to go back and do more, like fill in the blanks, which I'm already getting to that part because I already have a lot of blanks. Hold on, make sure I'm holding it right side up. Yeah, the Death Star is going to be on my left side. So this is where I got to. When I first started it, I showed this before. I had a couple of stitches here, but I did most of this on that San Diego trip because it's about, well, it's only a 5-hour drive, but on a bus, it's more like a 7-8-ish hour drive with all the stops. And so that's what it looks like. I freaking love it. I sewed some extra fabric on here, which is what I'm going to do for my Christmas village. That's why I still have it out. I'm going to sew some fabric on it so that I can put in a Q-snap because I can't currently put in a Q-snap. That's where I've gotten to. So where I started was right here around the Death Star. And you can see this arch here is this edge of the Death Star. And then I'm coming into some of these lighter colored things that he has going on in his cape here, like shadowy type stuff. And I absolutely freaking love it. I'm a huge nerd, which is why, you know, this project, I mean, you see already Doctor Who, Star Wars, because I absolutely love, and I've got several Star Wars projects. I've got a couple of Doctor Who projects. I've got Doctor Who Mario mashup project, and I have several Harry Potter projects. It's just me. Okay, I did work on this a little bit. Pixel. This is what the finished project looks like. You guys have seen this over the years if you're OGs. This is what it looks like. I started over here on this side. I haven't stitched any of the characters yet because honestly, I'm kind of having a lot of fun just stitching the cubes. What can I say? Oh, that Star Wars piece is done off of a cut of the 28 count Silvery Moon Lugana that I originally purchased for my chatelaine. So I bought a whole yard for my chatelaine, ended up using like a little less than, well, I ended up using half for my chatelaine. That other half I cut into 2 pieces. This is one of the pieces, and I don't remember where the other piece is. When I pull it out, I'll realize like, oh, that's the piece. This is done on, wait, is this the Silvery Moon? This looks like the Silvery Moon. This legit looks like the Silvery Moon. It is. This is the other piece. So, yard of fabric, right? Chatelaine project was here. I had this one strip up here. That's that piece. And then this whole half, this piece. There you go. See, I told you I would know it when it came. 28 count Silvery Moon Lugana from Woodschultz that I ordered directly from them. Okay, so it's kind of big. This is where I've gotten to on there. This is the top corner and the bottom corner, if I'm not mistaken. No, I don't think it is. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, this is the bottom corner. So I've reached 2 corners now. I am not 50% done. I would say once I got all of these in, like the squares in, I would probably call that 60% of the project, maybe 70% of the project, because there's a lot of negative space in there. So, I mean, once I start stitching the characters, I feel like those are going to work up really quickly. So when I got to this part, these are actually yellow. They're not empty. Squares, that square, there's supposed to be nothing there. It's like a negative space square. Yeah. So I got down to the bottom and then thought, you know, I'm just going to come back up. And so that's why you see all of these unfinished squares here with nothing in them. Figured, oh, I'll come back up to the top and I'll start working more on here. And then when I got to here, I was like, I think I'm going to come in and start stitching people here because there are some more boxes. Like this is coming down this way, and then there are a couple of empty boxes, not empty boxes, but there's a couple of bricks here in the middle that I'm going to need a landmark to stitch off of. So I'm going to probably need to have these bottom characters filled in to correctly put that in, because on top of this floating bricks here, there is going to be somebody standing on top of them, and then Kirby is off to the side, so I'm definitely going to need that those bricks in. But this is such a fun project. I absolutely love this one. This is 2021. I didn't like his 2022 project, and I was debating the 2023 one. I was like, maybe. And then I didn't notice one for 2024 when I checked at the beginning of the year. Then, oh, I put the wrong. My pride and joy of the summer, the thing that I worked on the most, I had a teeny tiny little corner down at the top, maybe 200 stitches. That was what I stitched. That's, you know, 1, 2, with, if I fill in these gaps with what I have out here, about 200 stitches. And then I decided to go ahead and do more. This isn't even 1% done. I think maybe it's like 0.7 or 0.8. It was close because I was trying to get to 1% and I stopped. So I started Randall Spangler's Autumn Magic right here. This is what it looks like. And I started up here in the top corner. I figured that's going to be boring. Stitching a lot of that sky, but then also this is going to be boring too. So we'll see when I get there. There's also somebody standing like on the porch here that I'm not sure how he's going to come out. But I just love this. I love fall time. Everything about fall. This house especially. I really want to live a place that has homes like this, and I really want to live in one, but it just doesn't, it's just not in my 5-year plan that I'm actively trying to get to, which I'm already 1 year into my 5-year plan. So I don't know, maybe it'll be in that next 10-year plan after that. We shall see. I don't know. But this is where I've gotten to on that. So it's a lot of just the leaves at the top. I haven't even gotten into the blue of the background yet. You can see a little bit of it here, but I haven't gotten to the other part of the blue. I'm trying to see like where I'm at. So these leaves here have more of the background than when I come down the side here. There's a lot more leaves that are more dense, and there will not be any blue in those. So I'm just working within this color scheme right here until I get further on. And then, so I started doing extreme cross country all over, and then decided that I was going to do diagonal stitching. So you can kind of tell I'm doing like a loose modified, I guess, diagonal stitching, because it's not that I don't want to keep them straight. It's that I'm not going to end a thread if it's going to go into the next hundreds block, even if it's not the immediate hundreds block that I'm going to start on. So I will just park it wherever the closest place is, unless it's more than a hundreds block away, then I'll cut it and put it there. But this is just what makes sense in my brain. And then when I'm ending them like out over here so that they get covered. And then when I'm far enough down, I pull them out from the back on the top, and I have a couple of rows space. I don't know if you can tell in between. So I know exactly like where to pull in the back. And I am a very messy back stitcher. I don't know how people can keep a straight back. I really don't. It's never been something I've been able to do, and I don't care. I am not going to enter any awards. All I care about is the fronts. For it, there's no right or wrong way to have a back, and people will argue that there is, but I said what I said. So that is all the projects that I touched on since the summertime, and I hope to start again. I really want to get started on a sewing project that I have, and I'm going to try to work on that. I just moved my whole room around, and I have this space over here on this side that I'm debating. Do I keep it a grown-up room and just like keep that area like a sitting area, which it is now, and my like bed and TV part is on this side? Or do I move my sewing table in here and free up some of my like craft room in the front of my house? I don't know. I'm just trying to decide. That way my front room doesn't look so crowded, because when you come in through the front door, it's a huge living room, and then the kitchen is in the middle, and then there's another like huge living room, the kitchen's in the middle, and then there's another living room in the back. Well, that back room, since it's kind of out of sight, out of mind, I use that as like my girls' like play area, extra toys, plushies area, because they're still 10 and 12, which will be 11 and 13 this year. And we have been like slowly decreasing all of that stuff. And so, and I don't have enough furniture to make it a proper like sitting room, like a formal walk-in sitting room. I don't have that furniture for that anyway, so I wasn't too worried about it. But in that front room is like my computer desk, my sewing table, my rocking chair with my stitching, my couch. I have another setup like this with its TV and the cube storages, but those have decorations in them and stuff that are more aesthetic to a living room decor. But anyway, I don't know. We'll see. That's like my today project, I think, and see. I don't know, because I want to go watch Twisters too. But my daughter has a fever, so we'll see what happens. But anyway, back to the thing that I wanted to talk about is that I think that I'm going to do Floss Club again. I was cleaning out this area here when I was putting this TV in, and realized how much floss that I still have. So I started looking back on my Shopify and things like that, and realized that there was a handful of orders that didn't get sent. As far as I could tell, it looked like refunds were sent for the ones that I pulled, and I had trouble accessing a lot of the other transactions because they were old. So I pulled all of those orders. It's like 5. I pulled them, printed off the most recent invoice, and I have a whole entire bin of ready to go floss that I can't recall what my intentions were with that floss. I don't know if it was going to be the next month's Floss Club, if it was leftovers from previous Floss Clubs, because it's been so long. And then I have a ton of undyed floss. I have a ton of floss that was dyed but was never cut and like packaged, I guess. So there's that. So I think if I can take the time, probably a whole weekend, I'm thinking maybe next weekend, take the time to divvy up all of the floss that I have, and then the undyed floss I'm actually going to dye in smaller quantities so that I could do more colors. And then I'll have a new release of Floss Club coming out. I took some time doing some research on market costs and things like that, and I'm looking for a new supplier for the floss because I can't find the contact information for the previous supplier of the floss that I had before my hair. Plus that one was a little more linty than like the initial test floss that they had sent me, which I think is like what they do. They send you like a really high quality test batch so that you'll go ahead and order a whole bunch, because I noticed my orders, like my last 2 orders or so from them, the floss was definitely not the same quality as the original kind. So, yeah, that's it, guys. I wanted to keep this video short. I'm looking at 29 minutes, but I think there's 2 minutes in the beginning that I can cut out, and it'll be a little bit shorter. So that's my thing. That's the Floss Club. If you're interested, I'm going to put a Google Doc interest form below, because I'm hoping to hit the ground running with a nice handful of orders. It'll be ready for immediate send out, and then it will be billed monthly. It will not be an auto bill. It will be your responsibility to pay, just like it was before, where I send you the invoice and then you pay it as was before. So there's no obligation or anything like that, but I just really miss being part of the craft community, and I hope to find my place back in there. So that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will catch you in the next one.